Hi, my name is Brad Wrights. I'm a Business 102 instructor for the summer online course. You may be in my class, or you may be in Jonathan Rylander's class. He and will be sharing videos between our two classes this summer. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to sequence number one, in which you'll be composing two emails to two different audiences. You want to watch this video first before you do any of the readings, before you watch the video about rhetoric that Jonathan does, and before you attempt homework number two. What I'd like to do here is to just set up some of the differences between academic writing, which is the kind of writing that you're used to doing in high school, at the college level if you've taken some college level classes, as opposed to business writing. Now you probably have done some writing in a business style, but I want to kind of lay out for you some of the important differences, and this will lead into Jonathan's video about rhetoric, which plays a really important part in this sequence and in the project number one assignment. So what I want to begin with is by looking at a chart that I've made that points out some of the important differences between the two kinds of writing. It is posted to the blog as well, so if you can't read it very clearly in this video, you could look at it on the blog as well. So let's go to that document. So this chart will allow me to highlight for you some of the most important differences between academic and business writing. The first difference is in the audience itself. In academic writing, you're writing for a general audience that includes your teacher and your classmates, anyone that might read your paper within the context of the subject area. The power dynamic there is kind of constant. All of your papers have the dynamic is always that you're the student and the teacher or your classmates don't have a great deal of power over you. You're writing to them as if they're your equals. Granted, the instructor does give you a grade, so there is a power dynamic there. I won't deny that, but it doesn't have a direct impact on how you write. Now, when you look at business writing, you're always writing to a specific audience. It may be your employer. This plays into the power dynamic. Your boss certainly has a great deal of power over you. Your coworkers may have the same sort of level of power as you, but how your message is received can dictate how they respond to you in terms of that power dynamic. When you're writing to customers, they have a certain power over you as well, whether or not they're going to accept what you're saying or buy your product. So we say that the power dynamic is much more high stakes in business writing. If your writing isn't clear, you could lose the sale. I suppose you could lose your job as the worst outcome. The next area down is conciseness. As you know from academic writing, you're encouraged to develop your ideas, give lots of details, give examples. Your sentence structure is often complex. You're showing off kind of your grammar skills to create sentences that aren't overly simple. In business writing is much more concise. Most of the writing assignments we do this semester will be the equivalent of about a page, things in the neighborhood of 500 words. So you've got to get to the point quickly. You don't want to waste your audience's time. So your sentences are shorter. Often the grammar is very simple. Beginning with a subject, using an active verb, will lead to a sort of conciseness that's appreciated by your audience and makes business writing effective. Some of this carries over into the category of language. Academic writing, this is again where you sort of show off your vocabulary. You're encouraged to use sort of what we call flowery language or artful writing. Business writing is much more simple, much more clear. Sometimes the words you choose need to be polite, or do something to recognize the power dynamic that we talked about with audience. And then finally, the organization is a little bit different too, because you're not writing lengthy papers that move from the general to specific and lead the reader step by step through your thought process. With business writing, we say you lead with what you need, which is a way of saying that you get to the point quickly. You're not going to have those kind of introductions that begin with a very general idea and kind of lead the reader down the path to your thesis, which is developed from different angles in multiple body paragraphs with a conclusion that wraps it all up. But business writing is, the emails that we're doing, you want to think about an opening, develop things in a middle paragraph, and a quick closing. The later assignments may be more than 3 paragraphs, but like I said, most of it's sticking to about a page. So the organization tends to be concise, like conciseness itself. The paper's organized in such a way that you get to the point quickly. So this should get you thinking about how business writing differs from academic writing. While there are a number of important differences, there is something that they share, and that's rhetoric. So the writing in a business context, and the next video for you to watch, which will be done by Jonathan, he'll tell you more about rhetoric, and this will prepare you to do homework number 2, which asks you to think rhetorically about the 2 audiences that you're going to email. So I hope this has been helpful in getting you ready for sequence number 1. Good luck.